Welcome back to another episode of Elevated Dialogue here on the Uncle Junior Network. I am the Uncle Junior, and on today's panel we have Victor, all things are true Viziant, Antoine, Antoine Christopher, Coach Dwayne, the Perspective One Dwyer, and JL Grasshopper Summers. We eventually going to have a couple of we supposed to have a couple of guests join us today, so they haven't showed up yet. But if they do join us, don't worry about it. We'll bring them in onto the show. Again, thank you all for joining us today on Elevated Dialogue. We're going to get into the topic in a few minutes, but before we do, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification button. How's everybody doing today?
Pretty good.
I'm doing good. Y'all ready to get into this conversation today?
Let's do it. It's gonna be a hot one.
Let's get
Hey,
it
I've been looking forward to it ever since I kind of sort of came up with the topic and some of the talking points and stuff like that. So, hey, as with in a relationship, there are times when things may be good, and someone may choose to step outside of the relationship, whether you're dating, whether you be married. This platform is for men. So if you're tuning in, if you're watching, just understand that our talking points are going to be geared towards the support of men. So you hear in the comments, you're like, well, what about women? Well, if you understand why we're not talking to support about women, it's just not that platform. No shade or no disrespect to the women or anything like that. Because there are some good women out there, and this information can still be used for women, because if you're raising sons, if you have a husband or whatever like that, you're trying to get them on track, you may learn some information here that you may be able to share out. You may be able to share out. Um, like I said, this platform is for all things men, and we have heard plenty of conversations about men cheating. But let's have the conversation about women cheating. This dialogue is meant to provoke thought and understanding, and the intent is not to persuade but to inform. And we're just going to be here sharing our knowledge and our information and different things like that. So we're going to jump right into it. The first question that we're going to start with is we're going to try to define cheating. It looks different for everybody else. Before we get into the whole cheating topic, I think it's important that we try to define it. So let's start with defining cheating.
All right. So what is cheating? I wrote, depends on the relationship. Couples establish those boundaries. An example of that would be like Will and Jada. They had an open relationship, right? And then at some point, the activity of relationship made one person, be seen as engaging in acts of infidelity. You know what I'm saying? So there had to be either a combination of what people think the rules are on their own personal, journey. But I think couples define that rule or should take aim at doing so.
So you feel like the couples inside their relationship, whether it be marriage or a dating aspect, determine or define what the cheating is?
Yeah, because I mean, it's a boundary. You know what I'm saying? There's some agreement. There's some consensual understanding. There's a lot of variables that go into. I would think, you know what I'm saying, in my ingredients that's floating around in my head, but ultimately everybody doesn't govern themselves in relationships the same way as the next person. So whatever they deem is healthy for them is for them if it works. Now, if what they think is healthy produces chaos that affects other people around them, like if you're in a business situation and you're working with somebody that doesn't have sexual discipline, that stuff can ruin deals if a boundary is crossed. You know what I'm saying? Where it renders somebody being emotionally unstable, regardless of who is the perpetrator of the act or not. You know what I'm saying? Because there's anxiety that goes with both being, on the giving or receiving end of, a violation of your boundaries. Because I don't want to call it just cheating just yet. You know what I'm saying? I think that it's a violation of whatever agreed upon trust. that there is. I think neatly to put it, because if you get too far into detail, it's almost like you're telling people how they should be, moving around. But things are changing, and everybody gets to pick and choose what's applicable. So all things are true.
Yep, all things are true.
Let's see. So I'll go next. For me, I'm going to start from you're in a committed relationship. I'm with you. You're with me. We make it clear. There's nobody else involved. There's no open relationship. There's no hunky-dory over there.
Are you guys married or are you guys dating?
Well, will you tell me? What's the question? Is the question pertaining to both?
Define cheating. Yeah, either one. However you want to define it.
I'll go with this. In a committed relationship. If you're committed into a relationship saying, I'm with you, you're with me, you're my girlfriend, this is going someplace, but we're not married yet, that's where I'll start from. If you're talking about she's just somebody I'm hooking up with, but we're kind of like, she's like my main chick, but the other four are okay with it, that's different. So I'm going to go from the point where this is the one I want to be with. We're just not married yet, but we're headed down the aisle, right? For me, cheating is going outside of what you established with her as far as commitment to one another, meaning you agreed not to go and not to engage in sexual activity outside and all that sort of fraternizing, right? But for me, I'm even more harder on that because I believe cheating begins in the mind. The fucking part is the act, but the sex part, that's the act, right? But cheating begins in the mind before you even go over there. So I believe the minute you start doing that, you're already cheating because the act will come. That's how I define cheating. So if you're cheating and you start thinking about another man while you're with me, that's a form of cheating to me. You're just not letting me know or being honest, and you're hoping you can sustain your emotions and your feelings until you act on it. But that's where I believe cheating begins. And if you go outside of that, outside of what, like Vic said, you establish between one another, and that's the one, and I'm not doing it, you're not doing it, and you're doing something that you can't tell me with another guy, that's cool. That's cheating, right? It's not about privacy. It's not about I don't have to tell you everything. No, you have to tell me everything, actually, especially when it deals with another man across from the dinner table. So cheating begins in the mind. The act is already done. That's another thing.
So yeah, so I'm agreeing with that 100%. I think cheating, and I want to make sure I'm clear, because I think we define cheating when we automatically start thinking about cheating. We automatically start thinking sex, and I think it goes way beyond that. The sex that actually is involved is only the culmination of what we had already considered based upon the disconnection between you and that other person. I believe cheating begins when you, at any particular point in time, decide that you want to be the center of attention and you want your priorities to be bigger than the other person. Once you make it all about you, once you start exhibiting and expressing egocentric thoughts, egocentric behaviors, then it's only a matter of time before whatever that looks like. So it may start in some shape, form, or fashion in one particular arena, but it won't be long before you two become emotionally disconnected simply because of the separation that exists. And then somebody else comes along and starts, lobbying for your attention, and then you're open to it. So I think cheating isn't just it's not just a sexual thing, because I think Antoine hit the nail on the head. If we're talking to married couples, now we're talking adultery. It's not cheating, it's adultery. That's the definition of it, right? If you're talking to people who aren't married, you're talking about just simply being unfaithful. Well, when we're talking about being unfaithful, that's a whole larger realm than just sex. So when you look at it from a more holistic perspective, it is the mental connection between two people that is severed because of one person's desire to be the center of attention, or they want their needs to be met above the other person.
Dang.
I totally agree with everybody else who's kind of said their piece. I mean, in my own definition, I think it's when your partner is no longer your priority when it comes to their happiness. It's taking, instead of picking the kids up from daycare, it's, oh, I'm going to sit here and have this sneaky link and chill with so and so. It doesn't have to be anything physical, but you no longer are putting the priority of what's important in the dynamic of your relationship first, and now you're seeking fulfillment outside of that. That's what I think it is.
Do y'all think men and women cheat the same way? Think they cheat differently?
Oh, it's totally different. It's totally
Yeah,
different.
how so?
I think, especially for men, a lot of our love languages tend to lean towards physicality. So when we cheat, we want that the desire of being wanted. That primal instinct of the hunt, the chase. Like for us, it's already starting on the mental. Like we want to get to that physical aspect. Whereas for women, they're desired more by us. But for them, cheating it. The reason they usually step outside is because they're not getting some sense of fulfillment in one of their love languages, whether it's communication, acts of service, affirmation, things along those lines. So if a woman starts to say like, "Oh, it was just physical," that might have just been a momentary lapse. But if she says she's in love with another individual, I think that's a deeper form of cheating, in my own personal opinion.
All things are true. Go ahead, Antoine. You talking, but you muted.
You want to let him stay muted?
Hold on, Antoine. You still muted.
Oh, there we go.
There you
Sorry
go.
about that, guys. See, like men's cheating is like desire, lust, hungry after. Women is more like emotional, feeling, having something connected to it, wanting to see. That's more of their. That's why they always say, "I feel like," because they always, I feel like. So they have an emotional connection of wanting to cheat, a desire to go over there. Whereas men, we just lust, like, damn, like to hit that.
No. I think it just depends. Like if we're talking in generalities, yeah, both men and women cheat to fulfill a short-term goal, a short-term reality, something that feels good and is euphoric. There's a difference between like a person that's greedy, you know what I'm saying, and just out there, you know what I'm saying, getting whatever they can get and whatever to give it up, you know what I'm saying, and that's the difference between having a promiscuous behavior, than actually seeking something that is better than what you already have. So some people, like, cheating to me is like if you're consistently engaged in it, you know what I'm saying, and it's you just like you're using a person, you know what I'm saying, as a placeholder at some point. But what about when monogamous people cheat? Because if they are going off of what some lack of fulfillment. Cheating is a lack of fulfillment somewhere, right?
Yeah, if you're not coming home to it, sure. But women
I mean,
have women have more of a connection towards, like I said, women need that to know that they're loved. They need that caress. They need that fulfillment. They need that joy. They need to know you're there, right? If they don't have that, a woman is going to go off emotions and seek it. Whereas
well,
men, we just desire it. We just see something over there.
I
We want
was
it. Just
I was
like
in the process of explaining it. Like generally speaking, I think that those definitions that you just named, I think everybody gets those. I
don't
think
think
that it's much more complex than that when you have people that have a lot more intertwined. Like for instance, couples that have kids that end up cheating. You know what I'm saying? Now you got a lot more, you know what I'm saying, assets on the table, a lot more finances intertwined. So some people cheat out of convenience. Some people cheat out of some level of fulfillment. Fulfillment is always like the scale. You know what I'm saying? But it's about, do you cheat up? Do you cheat parallel? You know what I'm saying? Like it's just too cut. It's not just black and white. You know
It
what I'm
is black
saying?
and white. I see that's the problem. People make things. It's humans that make things complicated. If you're in a committed relationship with your wife and she's laying it down every night, and you come home and you want to desire her, that's great. There's nothing making you seek it elsewhere. Now, if you're not coming home to it and you need it to be fulfilled, you're not coming home to it. You will seek it everywhere. You will go and find it.
What
Right?
about Jeff Bezos and him and his wife when they
Okay, you can't compare Jeff Bezos. He's a billionaire, right? He has women
No,
throwing panties at him.
we're just talking about the fact that the way people handle their situations. That's all I'm looking at.
Let's not stick with the elite, because when the more money you have, the hotter, the fresher, the sexier the woman. All right, the lower money, normal people don't get Jeff Bezos' option. So let's stick within reality, because Not everybody's a Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. Okay, the more money a man has, the more desirable he is.
Well,
it's just the way it is, right?
Well,
We're talking about in a committed relationship, normal families.
I was trying to finish explaining. You're running off. The question was, what's the difference, right? And it depends on the resource, is what I'm saying.
Resources of
That's
what?
the difference. You already hit the point. You just said like a billionaire wouldn't cheat the same way that somebody else that got different economic decisions to make. And that's the point that I was trying to get to. So what I'm saying, the difference is based off of a few different variables. It's not just emotional, and it's not just somebody's mental state.
Well, then we go to another part of it. Then are we talking about general people? Or are we talking about the elite? Because that's a different category.
No, it says men versus women at the bottom of the screen.
Okay, but I'm asking the way, if you're going to break it down into that section, then I'll go into a different section on that level, because that's for me. If you talk about economics and cheating, for me, that's something totally different than down here.
And that's what I'm trying to explain to you. Like some men that cheat, they make economic decisions in the process. You see what I'm saying?
And how? What do you mean economic?
Because there's a cost analysis that goes with everything that you do. If you got children with this woman and you get caught in an infidelity situation, right? Now you got to look at what divorce, splitting, assets, and stuff like that. So what I'm saying is,
are you talking Jeff Bezos money? Or
no, we're talking about in general. We're just talking men in general. That's what I'm saying.
You mentioned the elite.
If you let me finish, what I'm trying to say is this.
If you mentioned the elite, I'm going off what you mentioned. I'm just saying, if you say economics and you say Jeff Bezos, that's the elite. If you say economics and you're saying a guy that makes $100K with 4 kids,
you keep stopping. You keep stopping. I'm trying to. We got to establish like the definition. We said define cheating, right? And then now we got to talk about the difference between it. And we're talking to people that's listening that may be in an infidelity situation and may have children, that's looking at people that's moving at a higher scale and thinking that they can do the same things and they can't. So we're trying to normalize the conversation about why certain men do what they do and why women cheat the way that they cheat. So
pretty much the difference, if you feel like there's a difference, what's the difference in how they cheat?
Then if you're talking about if there's a difference, you don't mention Jeff Bezos or
you got to set a limit. So
you don't mention those guys. Those guys, 4 kids, 5 kids ain't gonna make a difference. That's all I'm saying.
It'll be all you're saying is interrupting what I'm trying to make.
No, but you're mentioning it.
There has to be a scale
down here, but you're mentioning names up here. Is all I'm saying.
Because there has to be a scale, and that's what I'm saying. The people that's looking at it, they're not Jeff Bezos.
Right.
They're not Jeff Bezos. So the reason I mentioned it, because you got to put a scale to it. You got to have something to compare it to. Okay. Now that we know that nobody up here is Jeff Bezos, you can't be making Jeff Bezos decisions if you got children at home. You see what I'm saying? You can't go jeopardize your household and your finances making decisions that entertainers and athletes do when they go out here making kids all over the place. You're not them. That's what we're saying. So the way men cheat is also relative to their resources. And a lot of men can't afford what they be cheating with.
I think it's a matter of, like I said, if you're not coming home to it and your wife is looking stale and you're not into her anymore, you're gonna roam. You're gonna roam at a basic general level. To me, that's where cheating begins, right? If I know I'm not coming home to it, I'm gonna go. It's like men are like dogs. You give us a long leash, we'll piss and shit everywhere. Women are like cats. You stroke them wrong and you're gonna get scratched, right? You have to think if you're not coming home to it. The whole premise of cheating is not having it and wanting it, right? That's a basic thing. You see another woman, she's hot. You look over at your wife. That's the best you can do. You're not desiring her like that anymore, which I'm not saying is the right thing to do, right? But if you're coming home to it, she's doing everything physically possible. Now, if you lose attraction, you're gonna go seek it elsewhere. If you're not coming home to the sex, you're not coming home to the love making, you're not coming home to the attention, you're gonna seek it elsewhere. Same thing with women. If you're not giving her what she needs, the attention she needs, you're not stroking her back, you're not attentive. You're spending more time at work with the guy. In a way, I don't blame her because she's not receiving it from you. I just think that's the basic form of cheating. Now, if you're talking about a guy with money, you can't tie him down anyways. That's a waste of time trying that one.
All right. So what's the difference in how men and women cheat?
The
It's
difference,
based on resources.
The difference. You say it's based off resources. Okay.
Yep.
JL or Coach?
Oh, I said my piece. I think it's like I said, for women it's more emotional, and I think for men it's more physical. I think they seek those things out first because it's not being met within the confines of their relationship.
there you go.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think it's just with this question right here, there's a lot of difficulties in there because, to effectively answer it, we need to understand the hows for both men and women. And that's a very broad range. And then in order to contrast both of them, we need to definitely understand the specificities behind it. So, men and women within the scope of men, there's a huge variation for us. You guys just talked about Bezos versus the platform, right?
I wasn't going there.
And same thing applies to women as well. So with that huge variation, just understanding the differences within each group and contrasting them, I think you're going to get a combination to where everything that everybody said on this platform is true, to include some other thoughts that other people have on the house when it comes down to differences. But just from a broad scoping perspective, I think is again to either fulfill an emotional need versus fulfilling a physical need, and it's temporary based upon the situation or specific moment. That's
A
it.
distraction.
Yes.
Yeah,
Big
because
distraction.
and I say that like everybody always goes, the grass is green on the other side, and I always say, well, how good are you watering the fucking grass you're standing on? How good are you watering it if you think it's so green on that side? How good is the grass you're standing on? Are you nurturing the one that you have already? Or you're just saying that looks so green, let me start all over again? I mean,
Based off where the conversation is going, Antoine, do you think that there's nothing that people can do to prevent being cheated on, or do you feel like as long as you do what you're supposed to do in a relationship, that the other person won't cheat?
no, I don't think you can control anybody like that. People will do what they want to do. People will do what they want to do. You can give them a reason to do it, but people will do what they want to do. It's just the way human nature is, It's just the way we are. Just because you're on a diet doesn't mean you ain't gonna look at the menu. You're still gonna check out the dessert section. You're still gonna do it. You're on a beach. You're still gonna check out the girl going by. That's men. That's how we are, right? We just don't hide it as good as women, but they do the same thing too. But people will do what people wants to do, and you can't control that. That's where the trust, faithfulness, all that other stuff comes into play. And I think, like Vic said, these things are to be discussed up front, especially with the modern man and modern women today. Like, I mean, discuss it. Don't assume nothing. I speaking from experience, I tell them straight up, you spread it for anybody else, I am not nobody's sloppy seconds. We done. Even if we're married, I'm telling you now, for the sake of the kids, you've been a great mother. That will continue happening, but keep spreading it in the other direction, because I am not going back in there. But that's me. Those are the strict rules of me. Right?
But you know what, Antoine? That's a perfect time to segue into this next question. All right. So, should the reason a woman cheats be relevant to whether or not a man stays with the woman? Why or why not? So, you just talked about,
Right.
if you was married, blah 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 blah. So, you say you would leave. So, it doesn't matter, no matter what the reason is, why your significant other, your future wife may cheat. You're staying. Here's a little
Yeah, give me.
scenario. So, you are doing your artwork all the time. You're not giving your wife enough attention. You're
Right.
not, as you said, watering the grass,
Right.
right? So you're not watering the grass. Your significant other, your wife, partner, whatever you decide to call her, starts, getting solicited in the DMs, and then she decides to go out there and she cheats. Does it matter, even if, like you said, you wasn't watering the grass? So should the reason a woman cheats be relevant to whether or not a man stays with a woman? So her
No.
reason
No.
her
If you
reason is because you wasn't giving her the attention,
And
you wasn't watering her grass.
I take full responsibility of that, right? Full responsibility of that. But there's no way in hell I'm going back in between there. I am nobody's sloppy seconds. I have too much pride for myself. No. You do it, I get it, my fault, my bad. Maybe you didn't decide to come to me and bring this to my attention to make it clear. If you don't start changing, we're gonna have a problem. Now it's my job to acknowledge her and change, to give her the attention what she's lacking. But if she feels it, all of a sudden does it, that has nothing to do with me. Continue doing it. But this over here, let's just start working out amicably for the kids, if there's kids involved. Let's just start working out who's leaving the house, the money thing. Let's just start that, because we're not going to have a discussion about rebuilding. And no, I'm not going back in between there. No, it's not happening. Mm-mm. And like I said, I take full responsibility for making her do that. But it's her responsibility on her end to tell me first and say, listen, this is how I'm feeling. You have an open relationship with me to discuss this and say, this is how I'm feeling, and I'm getting these tendencies. I'm starting to feel like this. I'm starting to feel myself pulling away from you. That's a discussion you have. She should have first. But if she all of a sudden builds up and does it, and then I find out and all this, and the trust is broken, and I'm not doing all that. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Mm-mm. I got a drawing to finish. I got no time for that.
So you out, Antoine?
I'm out. And
No
it's okay.
questions asked.
Out. Just don't let the door hit you on the way out. Because I know I didn't do it. I know I made a mistake. You know?
So I'm gonna jump on this grenade early.
Go ahead, Coach.
Hey, I don't think the reason is what's going to make that person's mind up or not. I think that person's mind was made up whether or not they were going to stay with that person or not, regardless of whether they do or don't. It's the commitment that that person make, whether they're going to honor the commitment. If they're really committed, then whatever that reason look like it's not going to really be relevant. There'll be a very in-depth conversation that happens to see if even after the action takes place, whether that person is willing to recommit back to their relationship. And that person, based upon who they are, their character, whatever, they will already have in their mind, I love this woman enough, or I love this man enough to where, I got it, this happened, we can get beyond it.
Whew.
I give you a perfect example.
I'm gonna heave on that one.
Yeah, I understand, sir, but that's okay. I give you a perfect example when it comes down to that. Everybody on this panel have kids. There's nothing that your child can do that you will not receive them back from. I don't care what it is. They can go out there and commit a murder. They can rob a bank. They can do whatever it looks like. And so you cannot say that that commitment looks different. Commitment is the same word regardless of what you tie on it. So in my opinion, and I'm not telling anybody what they should do. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm just saying that the word commitment is the same. What we do is we change that word around when it comes down to the type of relationship we're talking about. So which side of the fence are we going to be on? Are we going to be on totally committed when it comes down to our kids? Or are we going to be on partially committed with conditions when it comes down to our significant others? And I think that's the essence behind the question that you asked. So when it comes down to the reason becomes irrelevant. The question is whether or not they're going to recommit themselves back to this relationship. Then we can talk about the things that we both did that contribute to this particular heinous act.
Wait a minute. Are you talking about, you're saying that you're thinking, Coach, I got to ask this. You're saying that if she spread it for somebody else and she spread it for somebody else, you think that she can actually come back and convince you to go back in there?
Don't we do the same thing on the other side?
No. But wait, listen to what he asked me. He said,
I got it. But listen to what I asked you.
What?
Don't we do the same thing on the other side?
Yeah, if it's reverse and I do that, why the hell would she want me back?
It's
if
not.
No.
You're changing the context of it.
What's the context?
If it happens, if I, the man, do it,
right?
And like I said, like we talked about, right? Whether it's up, parallel or down, if I, the man, do it and realize I want my relationship more than I wanted the pleasure outside of the relationship, when I go back to her, do I not want her to take me back?
No, what you did, you obviously didn't desire her. Why should she take you back? I wouldn't want to go back to her. There's a reason why I did it. There's a reason why I did it.
But that goes outside the context of the question. If you don't want to
go outside the context of the question.
If you don't want to go back, then you're not going to go back. And that makes this question irrelevant.
Because even if listen to me, and I'm going to process this. Mm-hmm. If I did the cheating, there's a reason why I went outside the marriage.
Right.
Right? There's a reason. That reason ain't gonna change because we're gonna have a conversation about me cheating.
Right.
Right. And I wouldn't want her to take me back because first of all, I just broke her self-esteem. And if she's anything of a real woman, she should know, don't take me back. She should be smart enough to go, wait a minute. I ain't going down there anymore. You're crazy. What? No, no, she shouldn't take me back. She
Right.
should not. That's the problem with women. You
Right.
shouldn't take him back.
I'm
You
not.
shouldn't even have a discussion with him. It will happen again.
I'm not going to say like this is the problem with women or this is the problem with men. What I'm saying is that if what you're saying is true, and I'm not saying that what you're saying isn't true, but if what you're saying is true, then that goes outside of the parameters of the question that is asked. But when we look at the question that is actually asked, then what we have to consider, if I did it and I realize I made a mistake, and that word mistake is another topic of conversation, right? And then I say, hey, I want my relationship more than what I want this one night stand or this act of pleasure. Then when I go back, I would want her to take me back because I made the effort to come back. So when we roll reverse, right, why would we not look at doing the same thing?
You made the effort to come back because it's going to cost you more money if you stay out.
Perfection.
That's what a man makes the effort to come back.
Perfect.
Crazy. Any woman that takes a man back after he cheats is crazy.
Listen, bro,
like vice versa.
Perfectionism is never a gateway to a healthy relationship. I don't care what.
I would look at her so differently if I cheat. If she took me back, I will really look at her differently.
You just said
we had this conversation when we started the relationship, right? And I make it very clear to you, like, listen, this is it right here. This is it, and we're gonna have this professional discussion. We're gonna make it clear. You step outside the waters of marriage, of our commitment in any way, shape, or form. You touch another man, breathe in his direction. We are done. Just know that. So you are very clear that I'm speaking to you and myself at the same time. And for me to go elsewhere, obviously, I don't look at her the same. So obviously, I want out. I just haven't told myself that yet. And to crawl back, oh, honey, like I did something wrong. I made a mistake. No, I didn't. I loved what I did. I gave into my desire.
Again, I'm not saying you're wrong. That's how Antoine would handle it.
That's how I would handle it.
Yeah, we got that.
Yeah. I don't want a woman to take me back. She better be stronger than that.
I don't even know how to follow that. I think that answer the question is should the reason a woman cheat be relative to whether or not she stays with the woman,
and whether or not a man stays. So pretty much, should it be relevant? Like the reason why she cheats, should that be relevant in your decision on whether or not you're going to stay or not? So like, Antoine, he working hard all day. He don't give his wife no attention, and she goes out and cheat. And he feels like he's part responsible or whatever like this. So, is that going to play a part in whether or not you stay or not?
Women always go to your feelings.
I think that's on the individual, man. People got to look at their own cost analysis. I've seen just very complex relationships, been in some complex relationships, seen where, like people got too much on the table. And they got to play ball, like, like Jay-Z and Beyonce, But like, even though that's just coming from like, superstar entertainment level, but they're not doing anything any different than, people that got stepkids, the people that got, like side dudes, side babies, baby daddies, baby mamas and stuff. Like whether we participate in that behavior or not is irrelevant. It does affect the dating culture. It does affect the way we communicate and see each other in general. Because like if you walk around with animosity from a failed relationship, it's going to spill out in the way that you conduct business, the way you handle people, the way you talk to them. You know what I'm saying? You got to be human. You can't be a robot about every single thing. You know what I'm saying? Now, how people choose to deal with that, that's a choice, man. You know what I'm saying? On the individuals and stuff. It ain't for me to define, you know what I'm saying, what's good or what's right. Because here's the thing. There's a lot of great people that's been born that were side babies. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of folks that was born out of infidelity that added a lot of value to the community. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I ain't never heard side babies before.
Hey,
It's a new
look,
one. I like it.
hey, but it's true. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's just a mixed bag, and life is not that linear. You know what I'm saying? It is for some people, but while it's not that linear for other people, all things are true. I'm not here to take nobody else's reality away, because somebody could listen to this conversation and be like, I cheated on my girl cheated on me, and now we're good. You know what I'm saying? Now we got that out of our system and we done moved on. Because I know couples that's been like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it takes a level of accountability, and that's about the accountability in the relationship too.
And then just to piggyback off of what Big said, I can remember when I was younger than I am right now, you know, and I was in the military, and I had a girl back home. You know, she stepped out on me and stuff like that, and and you guys have all been in the military. You know what it is, like you see guys get Dear John letters in basic and such and such. And I can remember having a conversation with my brother. He was like, yo, are you going to take this girl back? Yada, yada, yada. She done disrespected you. And the thing is, and now hindsight, I'm looking at this, 15 years later, and I'm saying like all the proof was in the pudding. You know, if you're saying that you're not getting something, you're not being fulfilled in certain aspects, and you're asking if like, what if the situation was like, if the reason she cheated was because you weren't an attentive husband, I think it doesn't really matter, because they've already set the precedent. You know in your heart if you want to stick with this person. If y'all don't fight fair, if y'all aren't operating on the same frequency, if neither one of y'all are bringing each other peace, 5 days out of the week, I'll say 4 days out of the week, then you need to go ahead and dissolve that. Why keep, doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome? That's insanity, correct? So, I think, the reason she cheated isn't the real question. Is whether or not, after the deed is done, is it still going to be the same type of madness going on? You can sit there, you can go to counseling and stuff like that, but those types of things breed resentment. And like, Vic said, it can be tit for tat. You're just going to be in this human centipede of cheating the rest of your relationship till they put you in the dirt. So for me, it's, if it was bad before and then she cheats, there's no need to going back to that. But if it was, y'all were living in love and something just came up, I mean, that's for you to decide. What's going to bring you happiness later on down the road, because life is too short, man.
Man, what you got for us, man? You know what I'm saying? Like we just waiting on your input now.
Man, it's a I can honestly see it both ways, and I don't want to take anybody's experiences or anything like that away from them. I think that there are times where I don't know, man. I ain't even gonna lie. Nah.
I think it's expectation management.
But
that's
yeah.
Period. Like nothing ends the way it starts.
I mean, I guess I'm on the fence with. I can see it both ways. I can see it, Antoine's side of it, and I can also see it, a little bit differently, based off what Coach was saying at the same time. I think for some people, based off of their situation and where they're at, they're going to be the ones who are going to determine. I know that's kind of vague, but at the same time, I think if I was to be in a Coliseum and talk to a bunch of dudes, I would tell them that it wouldn't matter and that they need to go and move on in their relationship. Like Antoine said, I do think that there are there is a small amount, or there is a population of people who it may be better for them, or that can push past the situation and then move on past it because they may be committed. And if, because I mean, your wife, or your girl cheating on you for, while you're in Iraq, fighting and stuff like that is different, maybe or maybe not, than if she goes out and gets drunk for the first time and then cheats on you. I don't know. It may be different to some, it may not be. But I think it is kind of based off the individuals and stuff like that. But it is, I don't know.
But remember, Garfield, I'm talking about committed relationship, as in this is the one and it's headed to marriage. That's what I'm talking. I'm not talking about the girlfriend thing and I don't care about that. Anybody can get a girlfriend. I don't care about that part. I'm talking about you're the one. This is where we're going. I'm invested into you. We're looking to move in together. I'm looking to provide for you. I'm giving you my all. This is it. I'm talking about that. You just ain't married yet. That's the kind of commitment I'm talking about. As long as we're clear on that. I'm not talking about the girlfriend level.
I think sometimes men have a hard time accepting that your best isn't good enough for everybody.
And that's fine. And if she cheats, she's telling me that. And that's good. I'm glad. If she cheats, she's telling me that, Vic. That's all I'm saying. If she cheats, she's telling me that.
Oh, who we got on here? Who is this pulling up to the fight? Oh, there he is.
How y'all doing, man?
What's
What's
up,
up,
Issa? What you got for us?
Man, forgive my lateness, man. I'm a project manager on the Pro Football Hall of Fame Dome. I ain't even changed my clothes. I came right in and jumped. But
Hey, man, glad to have you.
man, it's a pleasure to be invited, and it's an honor to be with such a constituous panel of distinguished gentlemen. I would just
Yes,
say
sir.
that at least. Just real quick, I'll just say this. I've been married twice, divorced twice, got 7 kids by 5 different women. Okay, so this topic right here was one when you invited me to the discussion. You know, I have credentials to be able to speak on this from being a cheater and from being cheated on. Okay, you are what you attract. So a lot of men pound on their chest and feel some type of way when their woman cheats on them. But everything boils down to introspection, gentlemen. And a lot of men and a lot of females, you know, they jump into relationships with people when they're honestly not ready, number one. And number two, relationships ain't for everyone. Okay, like everybody is not a wife and everybody is not a husband. Everybody is not a boyfriend. Everybody is not a girlfriend. Like it's okay to be single. You understand? And a lot of people, due to preconceived social constructs, they have been taught to believe that because they don't have a spouse or they don't have a mate, that they're incomplete. So they go out here and they destroy other people's lives trying to be in relationships, and they're emotionally not stable. They're not financially stable. Okay. And then they lack discipline. And it all boils down to discipline. When you're a man that does not want to cheat, or if you're a woman that does not want to cheat, it doesn't matter what your partner is doing. You're just not a cheating person, period. You know, just like a person that doesn't eat seafood, just don't eat seafood because they're allergic to it. If you don't like red meat, you don't eat red meat. Like I'm Muslim. I don't care how hungry I get. I'll starve before I'll eat pork. It's just certain things that if you're not a cheater, if that's not what you do, it's not what you do. So, I mean, we can go around and around with, well, if she cheats, are you going to stay? Or if, and I've been with women who have cheated and I've stayed. You see what I'm saying? And what happens is you just end up in an emotionally traumatic situation. There is no, you know, there are some couples that make it through, but they have been conditioned probably because of something they've seen before that was acceptable by the way that they were reared, and by the way that they were raised, that was something acceptable. Maybe they seen their auntie cheated on her uncle, or dad cheated on mom and mom stayed. All of this is dysfunctional. But in my personal opinion, in short, if a woman cheats, it has absolutely nothing to do with you as a man at all. It don't matter whether the sex was bad or if you didn't have enough money, because there's plenty. I done sold dope. I done did it all. I done did everything. I done been the dope boy guy. I done been the Maserati guy, the big house guy, all of that, all of them guys. And it doesn't matter. If a woman wants to cheat on you, it has absolutely nothing to do with you. That's just a decision that she made, and she's a cheater, in short.
Man, we got to make sure we highlight some of the comments, man. We got a lot of active people over there. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Issa, I greatly appreciate you giving your firsthand take on that. You know, it takes experience to be able to, speak from a healed place. You know what I'm saying? You have to go through something in order to have the conversation that goes with the topic. You know, and you know it's always a lot on the line. Like I don't know if you caught the part I was talking about, like the stay or go piece. Like when you start talking about assets being tied up, you got to make business decisions at that point. You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of people don't understand that the way you can live beyond your means, and that don't necessarily have anything to do with money. You know what I'm saying? Like you can live beyond your mental capacity. You can live beyond, you know what I'm saying? Like you can have more aesthetics than substance. And that can get you in a lot of situations too. You know what I'm saying? So you can look like you know what you're doing and then get over there and be completely screwed up and then come out in a bigger jam, you know? So I think it takes a wide varied, you know what I'm saying, lots of different angles, because the way we got to this point, we tried the same thing multiple times in different directions before we decided to say, hey, you know what? That's just not for me. You know what I'm saying? And I agree with you when you say see people that have a certain food preference, you can't make them start eating it just because. I say the same thing when it comes down to, like, if you made heroin legal today, just like weed or something like that, I'm not doing heroin. I'm not doing no fentanyl. I'm not doing no crack, none of that stuff. So it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It's some people have a preference for, you know what I'm saying? Some people have a wider palate, you know what I'm saying? And some people have, you know, like time limits on stuff, you know? We are not in charge of the time that we have, so we can definitely not be responsible for people's individual decision makings based on their own timeline, which goes back into expectation management. Because once you get in, everybody got a plan till they get hit in the mouth. Everybody knows the you know what I'm saying, the perfect way in and the perfect way out, you know, before they even see the building. So like, and don't even need direction. So it's hard to take into account what one person has never experienced or have never witnessed on something like this.
Hey, I can roll with that. Hey, welcome to the platform, Greg. How you doing?
I'm well. How you doing, guys? I just want to say I completely agree with most of the things that have been said tonight. I just want to double back on the first thing. We were talking about. I heard you guys say that a person has the right to choose, and that's what relationships are. It's between two people. We seem to realize that when you enter a relationship, whether it be a man, woman, or just platonic, not in a relationship, there are two people involved, and the two people involved have to set the boundaries, period.
There
And
you
when the
go.
two people in the relationship set the boundaries, when any one of them set those boundaries and they step out of the boundaries, it's up to the other one to say, hey, we set these boundaries, and now I'm looking at what we said, and what you're doing is not acting up to what we both agreed upon. And so then you have to make a decision, and then you have to have a conversation, and it's not going to be cut paste, cookie cutter. It's going to be a lot of things involved. So even like far as cheating, who steps out, it is very economical when you have children involved, or even when you just have assets involved. You don't have no kids. Y'all went into business together. Y'all got property. Y'all got things together. So you have to make real logical decisions about your life, and then have I'm always a look inward person. I can't control what other people do. I can control what I do. So if she step out, yeah, I could say, yeah, she's just a cheater. At the same time, something I misstepped in my life. It ain't got nothing to do with her. I don't even know what my patterns in life is, so I don't continue to repeat them, because lessons are repeated until they're learned. And so we can look outwardly all day at her, him, this person she cheated with, but I have to look into myself to see, where was I sleeping that I didn't read the signs that was going on in my own life. So I don't continue to have this endless pattern of unfulfillment in my life, and correct myself. A lot of people jump into relationships not doing no self-care, no mental care, no love for themselves. And then you looking at this other person to complete you, and that's the problem right then and there. So, I just think this is a great conversation. I think the platform is excellent for men to have open dialogue, to express their thoughts and feelings, because ain't no place for men, especially men that look like us, to be outright in our opinion, and don't care who like it or not. That's what I got to say about
I
that.
agree listen, Greg, I agree. Everything Greg said was exactly what I'm talking about. Like for me, I'm a communicator. I'm going to make these points clear. It's not like I'm just saying, oh, we're not going to have a discussion. I believe in communication is key in a relationship. The sex and all that sort of stuff is the pleasure part, but communication is the key, right? She's going to know what kind of man she has, right? She's never going to be part of my drawing. She can't do nothing for me in that part, right? My work is my work. She's not going to do anything for me. There's nothing she can do when it comes to what I do, right? She can be supportive. I can be supportive in what she does. Whatever she decides to do, I'm there. And the communication part is fine. If I'm feeling like she's neglecting me, It's my job to go up to her and sit her down, not on a fly-by-night, sit her down and say, listen, this is what's going on between you and me. And I'm not liking it. Now, we have a chance to change this around, or you could keep doing what you're going to do, but you're going to come home one day and the room's going to be empty. Or I can just quiet and let the relationship dissolve into nothing, right?
Yeah,
But
we also have to be approachable too to our mates and our spouses.
What was that?
Sometimes people don't think they can approach us.
Well, then you
sometimes my wife feels like that's not true.
Yeah, you shouldn't be with her. I want to be able to tell you everything because you're going to know exactly what's on my mind. I'm not disagreeing with that.
I'm saying if a person doesn't think you're approachable.
Hold on a second. I'm the kind of guy that believes, when they say, oh, you got to wait for the right time to tell somebody. No, when it comes to my mind, I'm telling you, there is no right time. The right time is when you think about it to say it. But if I can't be expressive to you and I can't tell you what's on my mind 24/7, we can't have a discussion 24/7. I'm not the guy for you. I'm not. Okay. If you tell me now's not a good time, honey, let's try a little later, I'm cool with that. But we're gonna have a discussion. And if we have that discussion, you're gonna hear it. And if I make it clear to you, and then after I still make it clear to you, and you're still doing it, the next conversation is how do we end this? Because obviously you're doing you, I'm doing me, I'm not getting fulfilled. Obviously you are. Let's have that discussion. But I'm talking about communication is key, right? If my wife is feeling any sort of way that something that I'm doing, it's her job to tell me, and it's my job to bring about change because I'm making the mistake. But if she goes outside of that change before she tells me and has that discussion and said she was acting on her emotions, keep acting on your emotions. Let's figure out how we end this. Let's cut the bills in half. Let's figure out how we handle the kids because I'm not going back in between there.
I understand that. Okay. All I'm saying is that as a man in a relationship, you always have to be approachable, no matter the conversation.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
You have to be approachable.
Everything. But you're saying that you can't always go to the person. I'm like, why?
No, it depends. Because when I'm mad, I don't want to hear nothing at that moment.
No, but, okay, you're mad. You cool off, but you could still go to her after. So it's not like you can't go to her.
Yeah, but not.
What you said it is that you can't always approach, and I'm like, what do you mean you can't always? Where's she going?
Because when you use really broad scenarios, the time frame it varies. What I'm saying is when you can't always go, I'm talking about in whatever time frame it is. It doesn't. You can't say because you can't say because I calm down now, you should be calm. It may not work that way. It may be a month. It may be.
A month.
It may be. If you love a person, you're gonna take the necessary steps to give them the space to be able to negotiate properly, not on the terms of the way you made the table.
Like my father says,
if I'm always dressing the table, then we're not in a relationship.
Like my father
says, I'm always setting the boundaries and I'm setting the placement of the table, then there's no relationship. That means that's not my way or highway.
No, it's like my father says, never go to bed angry and never go to bed with something on your mind you can't tell her. Period.
Yeah. I mean, yes, don't go to bed angry. But if I don't feel like talking before the sun go down, leave me the hell alone.
Yeah, then don't sleep in that bed. Then you know what? But don't.
I'm not leaving my bed. I don't care how mad we is. I'm gonna lay right there mad and go to sleep.
We're living in the same house for a month. Really? Does that even sound plausible?
It does because everybody doesn't have the mental capacity to observe and to absorb things the way you may do.
You said
Greg. Hey, let me jump in real quick. Hey, Greg, how long have you been married?
13 years.
Okay, so you can speak from experience as far as where are you coming from with your point?
Yeah, my thing is I'm not saying by any means that's an exaggeration, a month, whatever. But what I'm saying is, I can't, as a man, I understand. This is like a basketball team. Steph Curry and them just won the championship. Everybody on that team is getting a ring and getting a raise, and not everybody was dribbling the ball, shooting. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have to drive the car all the time. I don't give a damn how we get to success. I don't care who's driving. I don't care who idea it was, because we're a team. So if I'm always dressing the table, that means I'm always setting the boundaries. I'm always setting the conduct and the tone. and I can't set the tone for everything because I don't know. I need to let her tell me how to approach her sometimes.
Do
Because
you
if I
want
come
to
the way
begin
I
with these
feel and think,
right?
it's always going. It's not going. We're going to clash. I have to listen as well as direct. That's
Yeah,
that's the standpoint
I
of a good
agree with
leader.
that. No, I never said I don't agree with that. I will approach her and I will ask her. I say, listen, this is what's going down. If she says this is not the right time, I'm like, okay, no problem. You know what? I'm gonna wait till you're calm. I'm gonna wait till I'm calm. But I'm telling you now, we're gonna have this discussion, right? And she's gonna say yes. I'm gonna say, great. I'm gonna let you come to me, but don't make it more than 3-4 days a week where it's building
But
up.
that's what I'm saying. So
It's
I
a
have to.
building up.
So she has to sum up her emotions
No,
and
you
her
have to sum
ideas
up. She has to be in a
within
realistic.
3 days.
No, she has to be in a realistic mindset, and she has to gather her thoughts, and she has to realize I'm living in the same house.
That's true.
I'm living in the same. What am I gonna do? Pass you by? Pass the milk?
No, man.
Well, I
Pass the
think
But
milk?
Antoine, I think maybe where you may be kind of not missing it, but maybe a little bit different is that when you married and stuff like this, like sometimes everybody don't want to have the conversation,
I
and
know.
just because there may be something going on and you may have to have a discussion about whatever topic it is, doesn't mean that everybody's at odds and that they're fighting. It just
yeah,
may be something that needs to be talked about. So, based off of that, to go back to Greg's point, is that there may be a conversation, there may be something that whereas we both know that we are maybe not mature enough to have the conversation about right now. So we may need to tally the conversation for a week, for a month. I'm not saying that it may need to, that it has to necessarily take that long. It depends on what it is. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they're hating each other, walking around on eggshells for 2 months until they talk about it. That's not necessarily it's not necessarily a drastic or a hateful or such a bad place to
There's
be
no
in
bluept
when
for
you have to
emotions,
have
man. There's
yeah.
no bluept for emotions. You
But
Then
I think you are, Antoine. I think you are saying that there should be some sort of timeline to the decision, if I'm hearing you correctly.
right, because I'm telling you now, when I make up my mind that you know what, I've moved on from it. Don't come up to me. I don't want to hear it. It's not when you want it. It's not, I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? It's like I don't want to hear it. I'm in a good place. I let it go. Depending on what it is, though, right? It all depends on what the conversation is. So I'll say that. I'll give it that. It all depends on what the conversation is, right? But if it's neglect or something that I'm doing, and it's something that she's expressing that I'm doing, and it's leading to making her feel a certain way, I have to drop what I'm doing and have that discussion. Now, if I go up there and have that discussion, she says, well, right now I don't feel like talking about it because I got to get my nerves in check before I bring it to your attention because it deals with what you are doing. I'm backing off. I'm going like, okay, you know what? This is probably really serious for you. If I'm doing it, I'll let you cool down. Let me know when you're ready. Now, a week goes by, week and a half goes by, and we going about our business, and I still don't hear nothing come out of your mouth. Don't bring it to my attention because now we good. Too bad, too late. Nope, not having it. Because you let things make me feel that it's okay now and that we're on a good place and that we've done things together, we've made love, we've had outings, we've had dinners, and all of a sudden you want to blow it up that I've been effing up the relationship. So what the hell did you sleep with me for? Why did you do this? Like, what? Like, I would have bought you a present a long time ago. That's all I'm saying.
But I think it goes deeper than that, man, because people sleep with each other all the time and they don't like each other. I don't know how many times like we've been in scenarios where it's like, oh, I can't stand your ass, but you still clapping cheeks. Like there's always going to be some type of physical. So you can't sit there and say like, oh, well, we were having sex and we're sleeping in the same. Yo, married people can go through life and keep it moving, man. Like when you like what Vic and Greg have said, when you've got assets together and you got kids together, sometimes you're just trying to keep shit on the train on the track. Like
Yeah,
when you
but
got little ones, you're trying to get to daycare and stuff
I
like
guess
that.
I'm different.
Those arguments kind of fall by the wayside. But you know that when you get that lull in the chaos, sometimes you have to revisit that. And so
Yeah,
and I think we've all had like some very healthy dialogue, but at the core of it all is communication. And I think what people think is that communication is just a flat baseline, but everybody communicates differently. We've seen that across the world. Like there's different languages, there's body language, there's not nonverbal, all these different things. You have to figure out within the confines of your relationship what works when it comes to communication and figuring out what is your best game plan to make sure that your relationship is healthy. And if cheating is a part of that, where you have to come back to a healthy part. I'm not saying cheating is a part of the communication, but I'm saying if cheating happens within the relationship, and you have to figure out, is it can you communicate about that and get to a healthier place, or do you need to go ahead and dissolve that relationship?
Yeah, I know, Julian, and my mama black, and I must be gay. I know your talking points already. I had to address that. You know what I mean? I had to go there because, you know, I could see you're just like, the next comment is your mama black though too. You know, I mean, whatever. Like, you know, put your ass on camera. How about that? You know, honestly, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. But I understand what you're saying. JL, I understand.
Hey, Antoine, at the end of the day, all things are true.
But JL,
You know what
I understand what you're saying, right? But I'm just saying I can't clap cheeks with you because I'm not feeling you like that. I can't do it. I can't take it.
And that's right. That's fine, Antoine. That's how you.
Like, I can't go about I'm not a guy to go about my business like that. You know, I'll tell you one thing. Maybe it's because of what I do for a living, because art is a very emotional thing. You got to be connected to it, and it's a feeling. We're very visual. So maybe that's another part that I have to consider, right? So I would have to consider that. But I can't go when I know that I'm doing something wrong that's making you feel a certain way. I'm going to give you the space you need, but I can't fake my feelings towards you. I can't fake a kiss. I can't pretend it's okay and, you know, have sex with and make love to you, I should say. I can't do it. I've tried. It doesn't work for me. It may work for some men, but I can't. Sex is never going to make me forget about how you pissed me off.
And that's commendable. That means you are really in touch with your emotions. I respect it. That's how you. If that's how you move in the world, and I have no problem with that, because that's your house and that's your life. That's the journey you choose to walk, and I commend you for that.
I think this is why defining cheating is very important. And then the other thing is like people have cultural experiences that changes that change the way they see things. You know, like if you ever study, anybody got any friends in Japan like that actually like live off the culture over there? I had a friend of mine that what say Issa?
My son is in Japan right now.
Yeah, and their culture affords them the opportunity to have multiple girlfriends, multiple spouses, and everything. You see what I'm saying? So, like, if you take that person out of that particular culture, they move somewhere else, are they supposed to adopt the standards of, you know what I'm saying, where they are? You know, or what? You know, I think it's a very subjective area, which definitely has to be defined by the two people that's in the relationship. If it is two people, it could be more, who knows? But whatever those people deem as the boundaries for their relationship, you know what I'm saying, before crossing into an area, it's not even just whether or not it's a good or bad or a deal breaker, but why is it a deal breaker? You know what I'm saying? And that's when you get into assets. That's when you get into, you know what I'm saying, the details of, like, it's not always a clean break. Sometimes they don't necessarily have to have children involved. You know what I'm saying? So, like, there's a lot of reasons why either side would choose to cheat on each other. You know what I'm saying? But if the commitment is there, you can't fault them for wanting to work on that also. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like if you've been standing in line at a grocery store, and then just because the line isn't going to your speed and your expectation, are you going to get out of line and you think you're going to go down the street, go to another store and get in that line and get the same product faster? You know, that's why I say it's cost analysis. Sometimes whenever you make an emotional decision, it comes with an invoice, bottom line. You know what I'm saying? So when you start talking assets and you know, like collateral damage, it's a lot of things that you have to consider. And that will definitely make you sit down and look at your own behavior before you decide to make any decision. Like anybody that's sitting back, that's more invested in winning instead of just being right. People that want to end unhealthy competitions before they begin, they will have a different approach than most people. Bottom line.
Hey, real quick, I want to jump into this next question. I'll drop it in at the bottom real quick. But the reason why I want to jump into this question is because, mainly because of Issa. Issa, how do I pronounce it? I want to make sure I get it correct.
Issa.
Issa, okay. You know, he's been in different relationships. He's been cheated on and he's been cheating. So, you know, I think your perspective and your vantage point, the way you speak from, is very important to men that may be watching this broadcast. So, you know, she cheated on you and you chose to stay. Now what? So, you know, as men watching, you know, how would you um, what would be your vision or your vision for men moving forward, you know, that, you know, the woman cheated on him and then they decided to stay, you know what I mean? What say you to that?
First of all, there were several different relationships over the course of my life where um, I've gotten cheated on. And gentlemen, all I can say is all roads lead home. I'm big on energy and I'm big on vibes. And a lot of men don't have what I would like to call dick discipline. Okay. So if I'm a man and I got dick discipline, right, which I exercise right now, I'm not a tender dick man. So if I'm not a tender dick man, that means I'm moving a certain way. So I'm only going to attract a certain type of woman. Okay. So in the days gone by, when I was a little, you know what I'm saying, when I was tender dick and I had to hit everything, the only women that I was attracting was women that was down for that. Okay. So if I'm a tender dick man and I'm suspect to go hit something, okay, I'm only attracting women that are a little hot in the pants. So when they cheated on me, right? The reason why I decided to stay, ultimately, if you a real cat and you're gonna keep it real with yourself, you know that you was cheating too.
Right.
Now, when you got assets like Victor's talking about, it don't necessarily got kids. I got 7 kids. Okay. So now you got all of these other variables. Like some guys stay for the kids, some guys stay because we got a business, we got a house, we got cars. I done lost all of those things. Okay. Only for me to have to look at myself in the mirror and all roads led to home. Can't blame none of the women. But if I'm going to be real and I'm going to be fair, how can I leave a woman who cheated on me when I'm a cheater? It's just common sense, man. This is the laws of balance. Okay, like the scales got to be where they're at. Now, when I chose to stay, for the guys that are in situations where your woman cheated or your wife cheated and you stand, understand why you're staying. You stand because you know whether you're a cheater or not, or whether you coming up short somewhere in the relationship. That's the only reason why you're going to put up with that.
There
If
you
you were
go.
like where I'm sitting right now, I'm not putting up with no bullshit from no female on no level because I'm not serving bullshit. I'm A1, A grade, ain't no cut on it, fresh off the boat. So I'm not entertaining nothing less than what's real, period. So I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I have to eat shit from no one. Okay, so a lot of the guys that are in situations where they put up with the woman cheating, and I've been there, so I'm speaking from experience. It's like, but I know why I did it, and it's been multiple different situations. There was times when I financially wasn't in the place where I needed to be at, and the woman had the guap. She had the house. She had the high paying job. So now I'm a hobosexual. You understand? So I'm staying because she making sure, and I'm trying to get on my feet, messing with her. Then I got on my feet. Now I'm macho man. Now I'm like, oh, when you was playing me, now I'm finna play you. And it's that game.
Mm.
Okay, but a real 100% black man that's on top of his game, right, is not going to put himself in a situation with a woman who cheat, and he's not going to be a man who cheats. Because any man, all of y'all brothers on this panel, okay, y'all,
Exactly.
y'all know, right? Plain and simple, you do not have to cheat. If
Exactly. That's what I'm
tell
trying to say.
If you tell a woman the truth, which is what I do now, I tell them right now, I don't want a woman. Okay. I'm not looking for a wife. If you want to hang out and kick it, we can kick it. If you want to enjoy a quiet evening, drink wine, do all of that, we can do all of that because I learned one thing in life. Men exchange intimacy for sex, women exchange sex for intimacy. Period. So once you've learned to master them both, okay, I understand women crave intimacy more than they crave sex, but intimacy comes in various forms, just like sex does. You got mind sex, you got phone sex, you got all kind of different sex, and it's different levels to intimacy. So cheating is a very compounded pin down. It's just not she slept with a man. I
Right.
got husbands right now that'll call me on the phone and I'm making love to them just with words. And all I got to do is snap my finger and their marriages are over. So I have to be the man and be like, you know what? I can't even entertain a conversation with you because you in love with these verbs and my lexicon and my vernacular and the way that I'm able to tap into your emotions and into your feelings. So that's cheating as well. So when you cut all of the games out and just be, as my father told me, a real man can stand alone. You understand? And when you stand alone, what's going to come to you is just going to be a queen, and don't accept nothing less, period. So if you're in a situation where your girl cheated on you, it's time for you to look at yourself in the mirror, all the men that's watching this, and you ask yourself, what is it that you're doing? What is it that you're lacking? What is
Yeah.
it about you that makes you feel like you have to accept that type of behavior, not only from the woman, but from yourself?
Bingo. Exactly. That's, you see, and he did it with reason. He understood the type of woman he was with and why he attracted her. So he knows. That's what I'm getting at. He knows. That's why I'm saying I know the type of man I am, and I know I have my faults and my mistakes, and I would communicate that to her, right? But that's why I was saying from the beginning, I ain't no woman sloppy seconds because I know what type of man she has. And if she can't see it and she decided to go check it elsewhere because the grass isn't green enough on this side, no problem. Because we had this discussion from the beginning. I have no problem walking away. I'll cry, shed my tears, boo-hoo, do all the thing. But that's it. And that's exactly what he said. He did it. And he, at the same time, he asked himself, why did I do it? Why did I stay? That's the type of man you are, right? Because if you have value, you ain't staying nowhere. If you have self-worth, what are you going to stay for? That's not the best you can do. That's what you did, but that's not the best you can do, right? Every man that criticizes another man, I always go, well, your wife is the best you can do at the moment. You got her at the best time at your life. And that's the best you can do at the moment. But after you build up the whole marriage, consistency, dating, and you build a life with this woman, there should be no other woman to come around to pull your eyes away from her. No way. Because you have, not only is she beautiful and you built a history with her, she's the mother of your kids, and you dedicated yourself to her, and you're telling me another woman can easily come and go, oh, and show you a pair of tits or ass and you going straight? Dude, you know exactly why you're straying. That's the type of man you are. Because you should be looking at what you have as value at home. That's all I'm saying. And if a woman decides to stay with a man that does that, he's going to do it again. As a man, I'm going to tell you, he's going to do it again when he becomes more comfortable and he's settled. And if you don't believe that, I got swampland to sell you. Not all, but most. But most. That's all I'm saying. So know what you. I always tell a woman, capture the heart, don't capture the looks. If you capture his heart, you're going to stay with him forever.
There you go, Antoine. Hey, I'm gonna jump to this question over here. I know we didn't stay on the other one long, but I really wanted to get these two right here. The first one is, what are some signs that she is about to cheat or is cheating? You know, like I said, this is a men's platform, so we're gonna put some men on game right now with these last two questions. So, what are some signs that you may have experienced or that you know about? You know, you like, oh yeah, she cheating now. So I want to go around. We've all been in relationships, you know. So, what are some signs she about to cheat, or that she cheating?
Hey, she ready to leave. Period. She trying to leave her situation altogether. You know what I'm saying? Like,
What you mean by that?
You seen Harlem Nights?
Yeah.
When the boy called and said, hey, it was there with sunshine. And say, hey, I'm not coming home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he already had some, like Coach mentioned earlier, whatever he was gonna do, he was already prepared to walk away. He just needed the right trigger. You know what I'm saying? And when he met Sunshine, she threw that thing in the sky on him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He made that phone call, didn't
he? Yeah. What are some signs that the woman about to cheat though? What are some signs? Like what are some visual signs that men can look at and be like, "Oh yeah,
Oh,
she's cheating."
I tell you what, like if you just go from, I guess, a regular routine to all of a sudden it's like multiple girls trips, and it's always out of town or something like that, and like and it's consecutive trips lined up.
Yeah.
I would, and it's not balanced with what y'all normally do, and it's not in sync with what y'all normally do. I would be a little, you know what I'm saying, curious. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like
I
little
think,
changes in their routine.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Routine changes always indicate something.
She's not
yeah,
talking as much either.
yeah. I
What'd you
would
say,
say that
JL?
also.
If she's not talking as much, if she go from
Yeah,
if she goes from being a chatty Cathy to a silent Samantha, yeah, she about to go ahead and do something.
Hey, my man Sir Derek just put one on there. He said, see if you highlight that comment. It said she's no longer pressing you about the issues she has with you. Yep,
Yeah, that's
you're
a
dead
good
to
one.
her. You're
Yeah,
dead to
that's
her.
a good one.
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? So like your emotions
Big
dead to her, hers is dead to you.
yeah. It's the little things she does. It's the little things she used to do for you that she's not doing anymore. The stuff she knows you like starts to slip at the wayside. You
Antoine,
know?
anybody ever cheated on you?
Oh, I had that. Oh yeah. But it wasn't a serious relationship. It was more of a girlfriend. We'll see where it goes. So I was
Well,
able to.
what was your experience with that? If you
No,
you know
no,
what I'm
man.
saying?
No, I mean the minute I saw a sign of it, I confronted her with it. The minute she went, I was like, okay, so we're done now, and it was easy. It wasn't a matter of I didn't want to have the discussion because I didn't care. Right at the point, it was like, oh, we're done. It's cool. I don't mind that part. Like I said, if she's a girlfriend leading nowhere, do you? Don't worry about it. If I find out, it's over. You move on. I move on next. Right. So, like I said, remember I told you from the beginning, I put myself in a position, unlike most people do it. I wouldn't recommend this for the young guys, but I put myself in the position that I don't need nobody financially, right? I wanted to be insecure in that area where I knew what I had, what I have, what I have. So I wanted to be in that position so I know my base was set. And I would tell any young guy coming up, secure you, financially set, know where you want to go in life. So the pickings are a lot better, right? You don't have to save up and bring up and build up together and all that shit. That was great in my father's day, but in modern times,
In, intro, in introspection,
in modern times today, forget it.
but
A dollar,
but to go back to
I
the
just want to say one thing to that. I want to say one
go ahead.
thing to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could be financially immaculate.
you should
What
be.
is finances and homes and cars if you have nobody to share it with? I don't care
Well,
if
I'll
you
tell
got
you
the
one thing.
pick of the
I'll tell you one thing.
look
I
of
can
the
I
car.
can answer that.
Oh, hold, hold,
I
hold,
can.
wait, hear me
Oh,
out. You can have the pick of the litter, the top of the
mm-hmm.
McGraw. At the end
Right,
of the day, the party will end. At the end
right,
of the day, the night will come to a close.
right,
And you're gonna go home to that luxury,
right.
beautiful bed and
Mm-hmm.
all that amenities alone.
Right.
And
Okay. And I'll tell you one.
and
Okay.
and I'm just saying, and for me, make this very clear. I could care less about having all of those things without having somebody to share it with. Genuinely, not somebody that's there for the stuff. Because see, when you have all the stuff, the conflict now becomes, are they here just for the stuff? And you can do all the vetting process that is. But
Right.
people attach to people that have the stuff because they want access to the stuff.
Right.
And they and after a while, consistency will show their real character, but you got to
Right.
go through all that time. And time is life's precious commodity. I have no time to waste. So I
Okay.
rather, like you said, your dad's time was good. I'd rather have somebody that genuinely understands me and understands the mission, and we build this foundation
Mm-hmm.
genuinely together, because now they have something to lose as well as I have something to lose. And we're
Right.
in this together. I'm not looking and searching and I'm okay. Tonight, oh, I can pick her, because that's emotionally and spiritually exhausting.
Right.
I don't give a damn. I like what Issa said. He ain't how he put it. Basically, he ain't slinging dick to everybody. He is putting a standard on himself,
Right.
and
After
so
seven
what I'm
kids, I'd
saying.
say that too. Right. Let's be clear.
So what
After
I'm
seven
saying
kids,
is,
I'd say that
even though
too.
I have,
Right.
even
Because
though
you've
I
done it
have
all.
the cream of the crop and I'm financially successful, I want somebody to share my success with. My friends is good, picking the chick is good, but if they just there because I got the stuff, it ain't worth it. It's just like Eddie Murphy and Coming to America. He had a woman design
he went all the way to across the world to Queens to find somebody in the nightclub or at McDonald's and was happy as hell. And that's all I'm trying to say. That's
Okay,
that's about that. That's
Greg,
me.
no disrespect and no disrespect. People that say that don't have that. This is what I'm saying. In my case, you can come
That's
up all
fine,
you
brother.
want. Are you gonna stop building your life because you didn't find the one yet? You're gonna keep building, right? Wait,
That's
you're
not
gonna
what I'm
keep
saying.
building. Wait, you're gonna keep building, right? You're not gonna stop. You're gonna keep achieving your goals, right? You're not.
Achieve your goals, but you
Wait,
want to
wait.
achieve your goals with
Let's hear
somebody
what I'm
that's
saying. Hear the
you.
question. Hear the question. As you're coming up and you're building your life, and you didn't find the one, you're still gonna keep building, right?
Of course.
Okay, so now you're successful, right? So you're in that predicament, right? Right? Now,
Yeah,
let me tell
okay.
you this.
Yeah, I'm listening.
When you're in that predicament, your eyes are a lot sharper. Your eyes are a lot sharper. There's things you can do as a man, you know if she's there for the right reasons. And if you don't, then you didn't learn
Somebody
nothing.
didn't
If
tell
you
that.
don't,
Somebody didn't tell that to Johnny Depp because Amber Heard took
wait a
him to the
minute.
bank.
Forget celebrities. Forget celebrities.
It's
I
true,
hate
but
when people,
that's
I
what you're
hate when
saying. You're
people put
saying the cream of
celebrities
the
in there.
crop.
But I hate when people they change their wives like they change the movie script. If the next woman's hot, they're already cheating with her. So let's not put celebrities. They're an elite category of their own. I hate when people bring celebrities into everyday life. All right, let's stick to everyday life. So you're building your career, you're going up to your career, and you get to a stage where you're not going to stop building because the woman ain't there. You're going to achieve your goals. Now, in my head, and wait, in my head, it was important to me. I did not want to struggle. I wanted to have a solid base that I don't care if
I
life
commend that. That's honorable. That's great.
Okay, that's me. And I wanted to have kids so I can enjoy kids. Not, oh, where's the next milk bottle coming from? I didn't want none of that, right? Now, I was telling everybody else, I was extreme in that matter, right? And then I focused on that, and I was too extreme in that matter. Now I could talk from experience. I would tell the next kid coming up, I wouldn't recommend what I did. I would say, lift your head up and smell the roses, right? That's what I would tell them. But I would still say, put your goals and your dreams before the bitches and the hoes, period.
Well, of course, no, you can't put the cart before the horse. I'm not saying that, brother. What I'm saying is, don't the presentation of your statement is where the waters get muddy. You can be saying the absolute right thing, but the way you present what you're saying has a bitter taste. And so what I'm saying to you,
be specific.
What I'm saying to you is, I'm telling you. So what I'm saying to you is, there's nothing wrong with what you just said. You shouldn't put the cart before the horse. You should achieve your dreams. But what I'm saying to you, just because you're financially secure doesn't make it easier to have somebody in your life. And having all those things still doesn't suffice the emotional effect of having a family, period. You can have all the millions of dollars, all the financial stable, not worry about where the milk and the bread and all that's coming from, and don't have love, peace.
Well, listen to me. I think we're taking two different things. Put it this way, and this is how I look at things. A woman will never come first in my professional life, ever. She'll never come first. I like the house I live in. I like the cars. That's my professional. I like the work I do. Now, in my personal life, she will come first, right? Rather I find her down here or I find her up here. Now I say to myself, I'm achieving my goals. I'm solid. I'm going that way. In all the dating life, in my experience, let's be honest, there's ways to tell if she's there for you or not. We're not fools. Unless you're a complete idiot, we're not fools. Right? And there's telltale signs. You could ignore them because the ass is good and the tits look right. But at the end of the day, you have some inclination. All right? Like Issa said, he knew if she cheated, he knew why he was staying there because he was cheating. There's telltale signs. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So at this stage, when people say, if a woman cheats, if you're giving her everything you've done, everything you've gone for, sure, emotionally, I'm going to hurt. She cheated on something good. You know what? You lost gold and platinum. That's you. But I'm just saying the man that I am, there's no way with the way I respect myself, I am not going back in between there because there's no way in hell I'm going to lower myself to that because I deserve that's not the best I can do. That's all I'm saying. And if you feel that she's the best you can do and you need to go back to her, that's on you. But that tells me a lot about you in my eyes. Because ain't no man on his purpose going to go for sloppy seconds. Now, if you're talking about celebrities like Beyonce and Jay-Z, they got a lot to lose. They're better off staying together because I'm sure Jay-Z is still doing his business. Just like I'm sure Tiger Woods is still doing his business. Just like I'm sure Johnny Depp left his first wife for this one, and he's going to do it again and end up in court again. That's on a different level. But everyday men that work, if you know your wife is at home providing, doing what she needs to do, fulfilling your dreams, there should be no reason why your eyes are wandering. And if your eyes wander, that's you as a person. That's not her. And you should not want to come back to her because you know what type of man you are. You know.
Well, for those of us that don't live in utopia, it's not that cut and
For you,
dry.
that's a utopia. I don't know why that's a utopia. It's called communication. It's called understanding. Maybe in your world, it's a utopia. In my world, it's a reality. I'm sorry, it's my reality. That's how it is for me, and it's always been like that.
We get it. What I'm saying is
not
like
utopia. It's just the way it is.
Everybody's version of what's real and what's not is their own personal utopia,
Right.
and that's what I'm saying. Like your ideas in comparison to this panel with men with varying experience, it just doesn't fit, and we got different outcomes that reflect our commentary.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with that. But if Vic, can I just say this? If you're paying attention to your wife and you know your wife, brother, you know when she's cheating. You have just don't ignore that red flag. All right, where there's smoke, there's fire. That's all.
There you go, Antoine. You segued and brought us all the way back to the question again. So I appreciate that. So what are the signs? You've spoke and you've said what your signs are.
For me, it's
that a woman is cheating or about to cheat. So welcome to the show, BT. Appreciate you stepping up. Start with you. You can answer this question, or either you can start from a different point. I do want to give you an opportunity to say something.
Yeah, man. I'm not. Am I the youngest guy in the panel? I'm 31.
How old are you? Probably 31.
Okay.
Aren't you the youngest?
Yeah. So I think this is kind of interesting, man, and I like when I get to talk to older generations because, y'all dated from a different perspective. You know what I mean? Like where we use the internet a lot for our communication and how we decide to deal with people, right? So a lot of times the cheating kind of signs start in like social media. Like when you see like an increase of male friends, male coworkers, conversations like that. When it's like this is my friend, but she's known him for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, why do you need new, male friends? And that's a perspective I take on my relationships as well. Like, I won't date a woman if I'll date her, excuse me, but I won't take her seriously if she keeps a lot of dudes around. Because just by nature, man, women like that attention. And whether she's going to cross that line or not, I'm not going to take the chance. You know what I mean? So when I see things like that, man, those are kind of signs for me, especially I see like in the age range that I've come up through, like being, from my 20s up into my early 30s now. That's been pretty consistent, man. That's always been a big thing for me is, social media, girls who are really active on it like that.
Interesting.
Anybody else? I know y'all got some signs. I know y'all got some signs from back in the day. Y'all know when she about to cheat.
Hey,
but Greg, the signs are the small things, man. The small things.
If she stopped having sex with you, you know what I mean? You can't get it as often. You know what I mean? She's withholding that. That's for real, man. Yeah, when you can't roll over and touch her no more, like, and ain't, it's been 3 days.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You can't get that hot pocket at 2:30. You know what I'm saying?
She's been off her period for 4, like, that ain't.
My man counting the menstrual cycle.
You know what I mean? Like that's for real, bro. And she shaved, like you gotta pay attention to that. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like that's facts. And bro, this is the deal, man. Like I always believe me, I say the unflattering things about myself because I've been on both ends of the perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like. So I've been, it's happened to me and then I've done it. And so, and that's really shaped how I've kind of lived my life, bro. And I'm, how I handle and deal with women based on those signs. And I don't really care to change people, So I would never ask her to not, hey, you can't be friends with them or, you can't hang out with them, I would just let her know, like, hey, that's cool. I'll just understand that I won't be serious with you, or you can't be with me if those are the things you like to do. So I say, a lot of times as men, man, we ignore those signs, especially like if she's, attractive, if she's one of like more attractive chick, probably that if you've ever dealt with before. Sometimes we kind of like, shy away from that. You know what I mean? Because we're like, yeah, we got her now, and you want to kind of hold on to that. But I'd say, like Antoine, man, like you gotta hold your ground and have your boundaries on certain things and make that stuff known up front. You know,
There you go.
I always say, I had posted earlier and I said, cheating is relative. And what I mean is that, this conversation isn't had up front of like, hey, look, this is my expectation of you. This is how I conduct myself. Does this work? You know? And if you're a man that's like, hey, look, I love you, I'll take care of you, whatever you want to do, but I might smash something every now and then. Just understand, I won't make it apparent, and she's cool with that. Then you're not cheating, and that dynamic works. But on her side, I would always say, I would never allow that because one, I will ever want to run the chance of that not being my child, right? If she becomes pregnant, with another man's baby. And I mean, let's be real, man. There's a reason why, like, even, and I always take it back to high school, right? Because it's like a much easier time to see things because there's not, hypergamy is very obvious in high school. It's, who is the most popular, right? And I always go back to that and I say, if you look at how we behave each other in that fashion, right? It moves all that stuff about like income out and all other things. And there's a reason why we call certain girls hoes, right? And we would entertain these girls at parties and social events and all that other stuff, but we wouldn't necessarily associate them like in public or in a school and things like that. And it's because, we feel that yeah, I don't really want to be with her if everybody else has, right? Because we expect sexual exclusivity for, our protection, our guidance, our resources and such, and they expect us to provide that. So, that's why I would never, I couldn't do it. And if she did step out, like Antoine's, I would just, hey, okay, that's fine. I'm not saying, yeah, it might hurt. I might love her, it might, and I'm not saying, it might be your wife or whatever the case may be, but if you allow that, it's going to happen again. You know what I mean? Regardless of how sorry she is, it's kind of, you've kind of set your boundary at, okay, this behavior is acceptable, and again, you run that risk of, is it going to happen again? So yeah, I take a very hard stance on that, man, based on a lot of experiences I've been through and experiences I've seen other men go through as well.
And BT, I agree with you. Let's be real. It will be in the back of every man's mind. Will she do it again? It's going to be there. There's going to be a movie that reminds you of it, or something's going to click. It's like you see that perfect vase and it's perfect, but it broke. Every time the light shines on it, you see that crack. Brings back all the emotions of when you were an idiot that dropped the priceless vase. I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want to see that crack. And I think every man that lets his woman cheat and you would take him back. Why? You're telling yourself that's the best you can do and you deserve it. Like, I don't understand. If you're on your game and your purpose, she shouldn't be cheating anyways. If you're doing what you're supposed to do, if you're filling up the tank, if you're being a man. Now, if she does it, she's going to do it anyway. So she's doing it not because you failed as a man, because you don't cut it anymore with her. You ain't fulfilling her that way. She don't see you that way. She's comfortable. Okay, be comfortable somewhere else, but move on. You cannot tell me as a man that's not going to be in the back of your head if you take her back. I don't understand. I mean, no.
I will say this. Being in the military for 20 years, living overseas, living in this country, living in different countries, you run across a lot of dudes, a lot of males, a lot of females, a lot of couples. I know a lot of couples who have made it after the cheating. Good, bad, or different. I would say most couples I know, someone cheated in the relationship. Most couples that I know. Good, bad, or indifferent. Some of them have great relationships. Some of them didn't work out. Some of them didn't know. Some of them did know. All different aspects, all different.
All things are true.
All things are true.
Hey,
you know what
look,
I mean?
Like you can't take.
I mean, some signs. You know, there are a bunch of signs. You know, someone mentioned that signs are a poor way of detecting a cheater, and you know, I disagree. I don't. I think that just because you see a sign, it may not guarantee that someone is cheating. And it
But it
doesn't
prompts you to
necessarily
act.
mean, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to indulge in what you think may look like cheating behavior. You don't necessarily have to address it either.
Indicators are not absolute, but they're
Yeah,
absolutely indicators.
And it
yeah,
should prompt you to ask.
Yeah, I
not
mean, you
all the
know,
time. So
one
I'm
piece.
not asking. I'm
You
look.
don't
I'm,
have
I'm
to
gonna
ask.
tell you like
You
this.
gotta
I
collect.
ain't asking nothing. I'm waiting till I got all the
I gotta
information.
collect.
I'm
Yeah,
waiting. I'm collecting data. I'm
yeah.
collecting information. I'm waiting till I got everything,
Hey, if you respond every
and
time,
then I'm coming.
you're gonna respond very sassily. You'll be
No,
very
Hmm.
sassy every time you
Because
get something. You know
because
what I'm
if
saying?
I
What you think?
address it,
What
you
you on the
just gonna
phone doing? You
all you're
just
gonna do is navigate. You're
you
gonna
might
justify.
want
If a woman know you going through her phone, she's just not gonna use her phone. You know what I mean? So if I address her and be like, "Who you over there? Why you always got your phone with you everywhere you go?" Well, if she feels that she got something going on her phone, she gonna get another SIM card. She gonna get another phone. She's gonna figure out a clever and a better way to do what she wants to do anyway. So I'm not addressing anything until I have concrete evidence and data. But you know what I mean? That's just me because I want to have everything because when I bring the data, I've already made a decision. You know
yes.
what I'm saying? And it ain't going to be nothing in between. So, but that's just me. But
And men rarely make the right decision with emotional distress involved. You know what I'm saying? Rarely make the right decision. So, like, if you are, you know what I'm saying, chasing every, you know what I'm saying, every bumper that goes by to accuse, you know what I'm saying, accuse her of what she's doing, and because you think something's going down, you're gonna look like an idiot. You're gonna go crazy, actually. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be the one with therapy, and you're gonna validate her cheating because who's gonna be with somebody that's that unstable?
Exactly. That hits the point. That's what I'm trying. If you're a man, you're grounded, you're on your purpose, you're engaging yourself, you're only becoming better every day that goes by, you provide it. If you're on your purpose and you're so financially great, and you're not only financially, but you're spiritually, mentally connected, and you have everything going for you, right? And you recognize that, the signs, and then you wait till it builds up, and then you present it to her, and she finally confesses and says yes. That's when you're still able, because you're grounded. You're gonna boo-hoo, you're gonna cry, you're gonna hit that beer, couple of shots, you're gonna get up and go to work. But at the same time, you have to say to yourself, you ain't the one for me. I mean,
So what you got, man? What you got, man? Like,
you know,
jump in here, because you look like, I see the way you got your forehead balled
hey,
up. That man
we
still got his work clothes on.
before Issa jump in, I'm gonna shout out. K Knox said, "What kind of women y'all getting with?"
who
There,
said that?
there we go. There we
Cass,
go. So
Who said
whoever
that?
said that,
What
I'm gonna
kind
say,
of
hey, I'm gonna come back to that. Cass said, "What kind of women y'all dealing with?" They do go back to what you was talking about, Issa. Don't even Cass says don't even have to change SIM cards. All the little games that have all the games have chat options that folk rarely think of. See, she putting y'all on game right there.
Yeah.
Sergi says he
I
said
want,
bingo. Wait till you have everything to convict, or it will lock it
Yeah.
down, or she will
I,
lock it down.
real quick, gentlemen, if I may. Um, I feel Antoine. You know what I mean, Antoine. I'm feeling where you coming from, brother. On everything, on everything. I'm gonna say this: the question we have to ask ourselves is this: when it boils down to the signs of a woman cheating, right? Listen, man, women is gonna be 10 times slicker than any man on his best day. Okay, with you can grease yourself up with Crisco and you'll never be as slick as a woman. Okay,
right?
so all of the signs you can think she put on different perfume today, all of that there. Those are not good indicators of a woman cheating. One of the main indicators I saw when women were cheating on me was when they okay, when they made it okay for me to cheat. That's the one, when they're no longer going through your phone, when they don't care when you come home, when they ain't bothering you and asking you nothing or none of that stuff. That's the number one indicator. And like I keep saying, all roads lead home. Okay, so whatever energy you bring into the situation is going to be the energy that you're going to get in
Yeah,
any relationship. I'm big on
I agree with
it.
that.
Okay, so at the end of the day, a man like yourself, you on your game, got everything together. So you have to ask yourself if you're spiritually, mentally, and emotionally connected. If you are not trying to procreate, you have to ask yourself, what do you want a woman for?
Oh, I
And at
answered
that
that
point,
already.
it would be companionship, right?
The only reason, Issa, you, and it's nice to meet you, by the way. I wanted to get that out of the way. It's nice to meet you. So the only reason, and I've said this on the panel many times, there's no way in hell I would get married unless I want kids. And that's the only reason I want to get married. I don't need her for nothing else. I need her to love, nurture myself, companionship, all this sort of stuff. I don't need to get married for that. Right? I would get married only if I'm bringing life into this world with her, because I would want the mother, the kid needs that other half. That's all I'm saying. There's no other
Now,
reason for me to do it.
I agree.
When men tell me, "Oh, I'm getting it because I'm falling in love and she's the one," I'm like, "Why can't you do that outside of marriage? Like, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need the government
Back to
involved
our
for?"
guest.
All right,
I feel you. I feel you 100%. How old are you?
45,
You 35?
45.
You 45. Okay. Here's the thing. You get to a place where we have to keep in mind that we live in the United States of America. First of all, our whole concept of relationship, marriage, and all of this stuff is based off of legalese. Okay. You don't need a marriage certificate. Don't need none of this to be in a relationship with a woman. The only covenant you have with a woman is when you have a child with that woman. That is the covenant that is going to last forever. Energy and her energy is locked in. So, with that said, we have to realize as men, whatever energy you bring into the situation is what you're going to get back. So instead of emphasizing, like the next question, how can men avoid being cheated on, right? The way that you avoid being cheated on, first of all, is what are we defining as cheating? Because a woman having sex with another man don't have to be necessarily cheating. Cheating comes in all different shapes and forms. Okay. The worst thing you want is the man that can get next to your wife more than you without putting his dick in her. That's your worst enemy. The dude at the job that's going to send her one red rose and have her thinking about him while she in the bed fucking you. Okay. So the dick and the pussy and the physical aspect that we all get hung up on because we are driven by our ego. Okay. When your ego gets involved, your ego is the only thing that's bruised when a woman goes and lays down with another man. I'm not a Christian, but I'm going to tell you right now, the man who had all the hoes was Jesus Christ. Okay. Jesus had all the hoes. Okay. They ran up, touched the hem of his garment. Jesus healed them, loved them, regardless, never had sex with none of them. Okay. And he died, and they still talking about Jesus, and women is going to church every Sunday, giving their life to him every
But
Sunday.
Issa, let's be clear. I said, I want to say something because I don't know. I told you from the beginning, if you didn't hear that part, I think before you came on, for me, cheating is the thought of it. The fucking part is the act of cheating. I'm talking about if she's desiring another man in that area, and that to me is cheating because
Right.
the act is just going to solidify what you wanted to do anyways. That's how I look at it.
But
You know
that
what I mean?
really, honestly, what I'm trying to express to you is that none of it means nothing. None of it means nothing. So a woman cannot cheat on me. It's impossible. She's only cheating herself. Period. When a man cheats on a woman, he's not cheating on her. He's cheating himself out of the possibility of a beautiful relationship. That's it. you're only cheating yourself. So there's no such thing as cheating another person. And the way that you avoid being cheated on, which is the next question, right, is don't destroy or sabotage the possibility.
Yes, I agree with that.
So on that note, I'm gonna chime in. I think that, my friend, was the best thing I heard all night because I agree with that 100%. Going back, because I got to run real quick. Going back to the signs and symptoms, yeah, we can look at signs and symptoms, and I would say the obvious sign would be a change in behavior patterns, being that we are creatures of habits. However, that's not a sign of cheating. That may be a sign of something's going on with her. So that may mean that you need to go sit down and have a conversation with her and see how she's doing. I think a lot of times when it comes down to signs and indicators or whatever the case may be, I think the perspective of what we believe that we're seeing is actually jaded by the lens in which we're seeing it through, which goes right back to what Issa said. So that's the main reason why I agree wholeheartedly with what he is saying. Now, I am a real big energy guy as well, so I am vibing 100% with what you're saying. When it comes down to this whole cheating thing, I agree. When it comes down to relationship, marriage, there's a possibility of something great happening between two people. We destroy that based upon bringing old experiences into something that has the potential to be great. Those experiences, and this is why I always say we cannot go by other people's experiences, because let's be honest, my ex-wife may not look like my man. Man, to think of, I can't see his name. I'm sorry. It may not look like my man wife, who's Greg. It may not look like Greg's wife. My ex-wife may not look like Uncle Junior's future wife. So my experience with her doesn't necessarily mesh with what you're going through. So we can't just take people's experiences blindly and say, I'm going to adopt that. Because when we do that, we are assuming that everything that person been through, every lesson that person learned up to that point in their life, I mesh and I can fit directly in those shoes. And that's not 100% true. So what we must do, especially as men, we must, going back to what Antoine said, Antoine, I love what you're saying, but I just kind of want to clean it up just a little bit, brother. Right? It ain't about the money, like Greg was saying. It's about me creating the best version of this person that I can possibly be until I come across this beautiful being that I'm supposed to unite with, or eventually is going to unite with. I believe that's the answer. It's not about how much money I make. It's not about the type of car I drive. It's not about the house I have. However, me being the best version of me every day. That's my motto. Every day is another opportunity to be a better version of who I am, who I'm supposed to be. So every day I'm improving who I am. That's my goal. That's my key. It's not about finding somebody and making them form to what it is I think they should be. That's another thing we get into issues with. So we
Right.
got to be careful, especially as men, right? We got to be careful not to be domineering when it comes down to the potential of something fantastic. And again, I go back to what man Issa said, because I am with you on 100%, bro. I may not vibe with the Jesus statement, but I got what you said. I got what you said. but you, no, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying
I knew you were going to say that, though, Coach. I knew it. I said, Coach ain't agree with that one.
That's all it is. But I got what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? If I can't connect with who I'm supposed to be, who I'm with, mentally and emotionally, I am going to lose something there. Because here's the deal: every chance that I'm with that person is dependent upon me being a better person. So here's the deal: the better I am emotionally and psychologically, then when I connect with this person, then we can exist in a harmonious emotional and psychological place. However, the baggage that everybody brings forward, if we have not healed from those emotional baggages, and I say it that way because everybody got a whole trail of luggage behind them. If we have not healed from those emotional baggages, I am going to always suspect why you come home late. You must be out there cheating. You see what I'm saying? Because
Right.
the only thing I did is I brought it forward. So those signs and indicators, they're not always true. Like Antoine, Vic said, they're not always true. It's an indicator of something. And that means that I probably need to clear my table, sit down, and talk to her and say, something is different. What's going on? And for me, I think that's the right thing to do. If I'm fearing that she is going to clear all of her logs and cues, like we said in the army, if I'm fearing she's going to do that, I don't care. Do it. Because here's the deal. If the conversation pulls her out of that mental place where she's thinking about it, then we both win. That's how I see it. On the other hand, if I'm going to sit back like Dick Tracy and just start collecting data, then guess what she's going to do? She's going to continue down that path. You know what I'm saying? So look, man, listen, I love what your brothers are saying. I'm with you. BT, I love you. I love your experience, bro. You know what I'm saying? Keep doing what you're doing. Antoine, you know, I love you, brother. Do what you do. Greg, I love what you're saying, brother. Keep coming on the show, man. I love talking, dialoguing with you. Issa, my man, we vibing, bro. You know what I'm saying?
But
Listen,
Coach,
listen.
let me ask you this,
Y'all
Coach. Let Issa
forgive,
go first. Let Issa go.
y'all forgive me,
Oh,
okay?
No,
But
no,
I'm
you good.
I'm a real good dude, but I'm very intellectual and well versed. So the Jesus reference, I made it in regards to the cheating, to tie it into cheating, because we have Jesus being the ultimate model of unconditional love.
man.
Okay, the ultimate model of unconditional love. He wasn't tender behind the zipper. Okay, he was able to love, he was able to share, and be the epitome of what we all want to be as men to our women, right? And regardless to the fact that, as the story has been written in the entombment of Holy Writ, he gave his life,
Yep.
and women give their life to him every day, and they still cheat on him.
Yeah. And I know what you meant, brother. I was joking. You know what I'm saying? I like bringing humor into a very
No code.
The code.
I love it.
what was you about
I
to
just
say
want to
something?
say,
Okay,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead. Don't
Hey,
worry about
Greg.
it.
oh, I just was saying, yeah, I agree, 110%. Like I was saying, lessons are repeated until they're learned. And so before you jump into the next relationship, you have to learn your lessons from the previous one. And self-care, I can't say that enough. Self-care is like the best. You have to become self-aware. You have to become selfful before you can be helpful. And I feel like sometimes we don't do that due diligence and we jump into the next relationship and we're mad at her, we're mad at everybody. It's the best friend, it's the you got single women. Nah, man, you toxic too. And so you have to do it. We're talking about intimacy, but it has to be into me, I see. You understand what I'm saying? So that we can really, really hash out ourselves before we become committed to a person, to a family, vis-a-vis whatever the situation may be. So I agree with that statement. And I
Okay,
think that
but
Jesus comment was hilarious.
Hey, hold up,
yeah.
hey, hold up, pause, Antoine, before you speak. Hey, what
Okay.
we're gonna do? We're gonna be respectful of everybody's time. We're gonna have about 7 minutes or so, and then we're gonna wrap up the show. But before we do, we want to give the panel and all the members a chance to have any type of final thoughts before anything they want to say. Coach, I don't know if you want to use that as a final thought. Give Greg an opportunity, and then you go, because I know you said you hit to roll out. Because I know you doing things, but also make sure that BT and Issa, before y'all go, and Greg, make sure y'all. Give us your final choice about anything that we've talked about today when it comes to cheating. So I'm gonna start with Coach, and then I go with Greg, and then after that we'll
But
keep
my
it going.
question deals with Coach and Issa and Greg, just to let you know. So I hope you don't come. I hope they don't log off before I have a chance to ask it. That's all.
Let the guests go first. I can go
Yeah,
after.
that's all.
Coach, you got time to go after all three of them, or have Greg
Yeah,
go?
I can wait. I can wait. Go ahead.
Okay, all right, go ahead, Greg, and then BT, Issa, and then we'll hit the other ones.
Um, I really enjoy being included in this conversation because you can learn so many different vast points and viewpoints. So I do appreciate that. Far as what we talked about, I think a lot of the things we said kind of like a lot of piggyback and a lot of reiterating the same kind of point. I do believe cheating is relative. That was stated tonight. I also do believe you have to have self worth, so you don't take garbage, and that's both sides. Another statement that was made tonight, that men won't accept a woman, but would want her to accept them if he was caught with his pants down. Um, and so we got to correct double standards. And if it's cut off straight because she lay with another man, it's cut off straight when you get caught out there, whether the reason it be valid or invalid. I'm very a person on self responsibility. I can't take responsibility for you. I got to take responsibility for me. And I think that was something that was resonated tonight very well. I think Esau touched that. I think Anton touched that. We have to be self-aware before we can become outwardly conscious. So I think that was great tonight. I think everything was well. That's what I got to say about that.
You got BT.
Yeah,
Final
man,
thought.
I've watched a few episodes. Vic knows I'm always working and stuff, so I like something I can throw in my ear and just kind of move around to and get a perspective. And like I said, I love talking to like the older generation. Most of the guys I'm around are about 15, 20 years my senior, that I work with, right? So believe me, I live a much different lifestyle. I wish I could have got in earlier to talk about some of this stuff. But yeah. Uh, Again, I don't want to make it too long, man. I would love to have more conversations like this. So I think this is important, especially when we bring younger guys meeting the older guys, because dating, marriage, and all of that is much different now. It's not the same. Like the strategy is different. The way people behave is different. Especially with like the way society does things. It's a very mixed bag. So anytime I get to be a part of a conversation like this, I kind of enjoy it. So I'm definitely would like to be back on if y'all have me, man, and catch it in the beginning.
I just want to thank you guys for inviting me, and shout out to my cousin Hassan Kareem. That's how I kind of connected with you guys. You know what I mean? And Coach, my man, I was waiting on you to chime in. I was sitting back the way you was sitting back there. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling him. But at the end of the day, cheating is a form of communication too. And when people start to look at that, people that don't want to deal with the issues that are going on in their relationship, cheating is a nonverbal form of communication. You're communicating to the other person that you're unhappy. Okay. And a lot of that has to do with you may not be able to express whatever it is that she may not be able to express to you how she really feels about you because you have a domineering personality, or you are all about the money, or you're all about sex, you're all about whatever. So the best way to break your heart or get your attention is for them to cheat. And the same thing goes for men. And my final thought is don't cheat yourself, treat yourself, man. All roads lead home.
Coach Antoine Vic.
Yeah, I just want to, my question pertains to actually all the guests on the panel, to be honest with you, and Coach as well, because he started it. He gave me that thought of what I wanted to say. So
go ahead, Antoine.
But I'm gonna make it long. No, Coach, go ahead, because Coach can leave after he gives me his answer. I know he has to go.
No, man, go ahead with your question first, and then
Okay, so I just want to make it clear to Greg. I'm saying you're absolutely right. It would be great to have that person to share it with, right? So I agree with you 100% in that area. Okay, now this is a question and a comment at the same time to BT and Issa and yourself and Coach. I just want to make it clear. For me, a woman shouldn't complete you. Your ass should be completed, right? She's there to, you're there to enhance both each other and come together. This whole thing when men say, I need a woman to complete me, that's complete asinine bullshit, right? Because if you need a woman to complete you, you got something missing in yourself. Because ain't no woman could complete a man. She has nothing to do with that. You should be on your A game as a man to take care of that woman. Is that what we're saying? Is that fair to say? Or you guys think you need a woman to complete you? Like, people say, I need that relationship to complete, right? Because if that was the case, I wouldn't be looking to get married because I want kids. That's the only reason I would get married.
Greg, before you answer, I'll wrap this real quick. In the Bible says, and God created man in his image after his likeness. In the image of God created him, male and female created he them. Okay.
Right.
So what that means is, and it's not been taught to us, is that when you are the man, you are not a man unless you have your female equivalent and counterpart. Until then, just the ultimate man.
Wait a minute. Are you saying as in a complete man?
A
So
man, the image of God after his image and his likeness is when male and
Man,
female
woman, child,
come together,
right?
and that have the ability to create life.
Life. Okay.
God.
Right. Okay. I agree with that.
so thank you. But I'll just say this, and I'm gonna leave it alone because the iron is hot. I'll speak for me. So for me and my wife, she does complete me because it's like I just stated before. When you're a part of a
13
team,
years, Antoine. 13 years.
She ain't
when
complete.
you're a team, you're not always doing the driving. There's things that my wife see that I don't see because she have a certain perspective and avenue that I don't have. And I'm okay. It's okay. And I don't have to be less than or any of those things. Because yes, I'm a man and I have vision and I have drive and I have a passion. I work very hard. So it doesn't say because I work and I have this that her equivalent to me is done, but she comes in and adds a piece that
But she doesn't
completes
complete you,
the
right?
puzzle. That completes the puzzle. My family, my mission, my what I'm doing. Because guess what? You can have a business and have this one client that is the most stubborn client. But your wife can give you a perspective and come into that meeting or have an idea. And that client out of nowhere, it's like, oh, I ain't like talking to Greg, but I was talking to his wife, and that seemed like a good idea. I'm gonna do that. So you need that partnership. And so if you want to use word complete and the word complete is bothering you, it's not let's it's hyperbole. You know, it's
I'm
more
look.
romantic.
I'm using it as a mean. Wait. I'm using complete as in the meaning of the word. Right. That's how I'm using it
So
right now. I'm not
so
using it
so
literally.
Great, another
I'm
show.
actually using it as the meaning of the word. Just make that clear.
okay, so just my simple answer, my wife completes me because she's a part of the puzzle of my life.
And if you divorce her, heaven forbid you divorce her, she took that piece too.
If I divorce my wife, but
She
I
took that
highly
piece
doubt,
too.
you asked the question, let me answer. If I divorce my wife, that piece of my life is missing, and it
Jesus.
will take something else to fill it. It doesn't have to be a person, it can just be whatever dynamic that was.
What food?
Because this is this okay. That's
I mean, what are
God
you
bless.
saying? It's something else to complete it. You're half a man. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's what you're saying. I didn't say that.
No, you're saying you need something else to replace it. Why?
Because because you made a life with a person,
And
and
you
your life
had
is
that life. It
always
just didn't work out with her.
see, you can't hear it because you're talking. So the thing is, when your life becomes twined with one person, there's a lot of cords that rip up. You can't
Yeah.
just pull a root. You can't just pull a root up and the ground stay solid. It's going to be something missing.
Yeah, and that's
That's just
called getting
fact,
over it.
man. That's not reality.
Why
That's
is
not
it not
reality.
reality? What, you're gonna hover
Because you got
over her?
who said that? That's not.
You
You're
did. You said
missing it.
you need something else to complete
Oh,
it. You
brother,
said
you
you need,
do.
I'm going by
If
your words. You
you
said you
listen,
need
listen.
something else to complete it, to fill it.
Okay, okay. So we can all sing together, but we can't talk together. So I'm going to say this.
Wait, just answer the question.
If-
You
if-
said you need something
if-
else to
no,
replace
brother,
it.
you can't say just answer the question while I'm speaking. So here it
But
is.
you're not answering, you're not addressing what you
Oh,
said.
I can't because your verbication is not
Start from
stopping.
there. Start from there.
No, you can't tell me where to start from. So here it is.
You need something to replace it. What do you need to replace
Listen,
it?
listen, brother. If my wife of 13 years, mother of my children, and I break up our home, there is something that's going to be missing in my life because my normal, it's like a death. My life has drastically changed in a course of
Yeah.
minutes and days. So it's not just, oh, get over it because I'm a man, I'm complete. Absolutely not. There's something in my life that has changed completely and drastically. And you're
Yeah.
speaking that
One
way because
apartment to the
you've never
next.
been in that position.
Jesus
You've never been in
Christ.
that position, brother. Until you have something to lose, you don't understand.
Oh, I've
And that's all
lost. I'm just saying I've lost, but it's called experience. Even if I don't need nothing to replace it, if she leaves, it
you
didn't work out.
do.
No,
You do.
what?
Because if you're cohabiting with somebody and they handle a piece of a puzzle, if you're opening a business, you have a business partner,
and this business partner is excellent in this area of business.
Well, first of all, my
you're not
wife ain't gonna
excellent-
handle a business partner. My wife ain't no business partner.
That's your
I'm
wife,
talking about
brother.
I'm talking about
I'm saying to
relationship.
you,
I'm not talking about business.
that relationship is business. Marriage is business, brother. But you
It
know
is
it
a
or not.
business, but I'm talking about if it doesn't work out, what do you need to replace that with? Another woman?
Money, time, relationship, commitment, conversation. There's a plethora of things that go out the door when a person you spend a significant amount of time in your life with, unless they meant nothing to you. You understand what I'm saying?
It's not that they mean
You
nothing
got
to
15
you.
or 30 years in a game and you just break up. Oh, I'm just over it. That's not how it works.
Sure, it is. Compartmentalize everything. She left.
Brother,
okay, honey.
that's not
How do you
reality,
want to? How do you want to break things up? Because I know I'm not going homeless. I know that for a fact, and I know you're not going
You
homeless.
don't know
and I know
anything until that judge tell you what
Oh,
you're
but we're
gonna
gonna do the
do.
best
Then
thing
you ain't
for
got
the
no
kids.
control. That
What?
judge gonna tell you half, brother, and you're gonna have to do it.
First of all, before it even gets
I'm
to the
just saying
judge,
to you.
before it even gets to the judge, I'm already secured on how it's going to be split up. Because there's no way I'm leaving things to the courts. I'm just saying there's avenues one
Listen,
takes.
the answer to the question is
Hey,
yes,
it's hey, we supposed to be closing the show out. Let me go ahead and say what I got to say. Can it? Hey, look, you can only have what you can afford. That ain't got nothing to do with money. This is about your attitude. This is about who you connected to. Your net worth is determined by your net worth. You know what I'm saying? If depending on if you're a man or a woman. So it hits differently. So what you bring to the discussion is the energy that your relationship will move with. And if you don't take total introspective account of yourself, then you have nobody to blame but you for what you didn't say. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, I'm out.
I agree with that one.
Coach,
I agree with that.
Give us up. Wrap us up, Coach.
Yo, man, listen. Yeah.
None, Marianne, none.
Listen. I want to go back to what Issa said. Because again, Issa, you keep setting up these abuse for me, bro. But he's 100% correct. Like in the beginning, when God created Adam, right? God actually created Adam so that they can actually commune together, right? So at the end of the day, God started creating, and then Adam started naming. They were working together in harmony, right? And then Adam kind of got disappointed because as he was naming animals, he didn't realize that there was nothing there for him. And so what happens, God put him to sleep, and actually that's when he pulled Eve from him. That being said, every man was created man in the beginning was created with male and female. That's what it was. He created Adam just like him, male and female. Go into the book of Ephesians chapter 5, where it talks about marriage. In the book of Ephesians, what he does is he takes the relationship between husband and wife and he compares it to Christ and the church. The man is supposed to wash the wife. He's supposed to sanctify the wife with the washing of the water by the word. Therefore, the man's responsibility is to put Eve back. That's what it is. That's where you become one. And he says it specifically, but I am speaking only concerning the church. Now, to your question, again, I go back to what I said. Here's the reality of the truth. Man was created for a relationship with God. That's what it is. So for us, what we're supposed to do is continually to improve ourselves so that we can be right with him. That way, we are perfectly positioned so that when she shows up, whoever Eve may be, we can sanctify her by the washing of the water with the word. That's it. So we can call it complete wherever you're from. If that's what you want to say, I'm okay with that. And here's the thing, you're not wrong. Wherever you're from, if you don't want to call it complete, I'm okay with that too. That's your perspective. You know what I'm saying? Here's my point when it comes down to it. Cheating should never be a part of the discussion because here's the reality of the truth. As that particular man, you should have captivated her, again, psychologically and emotionally, because you have her attention. And it has nothing to do with the physical that you are injecting in her. It is the mental and the emotional that you're injecting in her that makes the physical mind-blowing. That's the part that we get with maturity. Like Issa was saying, Issa said it. I'm not out here trying to see what all I can get into. That's not the perspective. The goal is for me to be a better person that I can, continuously. So if I get into situationships, I tell them up front, this is who I am. You make the decision whether you want to participate in that or not. That's that's how grown men move.
Exactly.
We don't just play games and then have them figured out later, and then they become emotionally frustrated with us. Then they raise their children to hate their father. That's the problem. We have too many kids right now that are so disconnected from their father, and a part of them is missing, and they spend a better part of their life trying to fill that void with drugs, alcohol, women, and any other thing you can think about. So until we get out of this misogynistic male ego, until and I got to be honest, because I got to be equal across the board, until women get out of this idea that I don't need a man, then what we can do, and I keep saying this every week, what we can do is we as men can help each other grow and be better, so that when Eve show up, we can put her back. Women can help women, as it says in, and I don't want to misquote it, but when a man finds a wife, she ain't married yet, but when he finds a wife, he finds it's a good thing. So she already have all the wifely qualities. She is just waiting for the gift of marriage. We exist in a society right now that do not view marriage as a gift. It is honorable. That's what the Bible tells us. But it's not honorable in this society. It's just something that we do. Why? Because we want companionship. Get a dog. Get a dog until you get healthy.
There you
That's
go.
the key. So that's my point. So when we look at it, we have to control, we have to, again, help our group. Men help men, women help women. Then we come together so that we can exist in harmony. And my brothers, that is what we should be after collectively. Why?
That's right.
Because that is how we strengthen our community, one family at a time. Man, go home, be a father to your kids, and be a husband to that particular woman, whoever you choose to be with. That's the answer. I'm
I
sorry.
like it. Coach
I like
always
that.
got some good knowledge for us, don't he?
I started it, man.
Hey,
Hey, don't put me in that, man.
Man, bro, I love you, man. I'm glad you brought that up, though.
Charlotte
That was
says,
very
glad to
good.
see you guys having this conversation. We women been talking about it. Love when I hear scripture to back it up. Enjoyed the show, and thanks for sharing. And she even hit you up again. She said, preach, coach. FYI, that's my mom right there. So sure.
That's your mom?
Yeah, that's my mom right
You're doing
there.
this,
She watches almost all the shows and the content and everything like that. So, but hey, man, look, hey, we getting off of here, everybody. Thank you all for joining in.
Thank y'all.
Issa, BT, Greg, Anderson. Hey, I appreciate y'all for being on here. Please come back, visit with us, share your experiences, share your knowledge. Thank you all for tuning in today. We'll be back live next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with another great show, another great topic. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on your way out the door. Check out the other videos. And we are out this piece. Y'all have a good evening.
Peace and love.
Later, brothers.